this episode of An American Entrepreneur, we are going to Terrell, Texas to meet a retired police couple who decided to open a gun range on their property with the help of their 3 sons. They're going to share the story of their journey from inception to operating their newly opened range. They've been in business for only 6 months, and I must say, it's very impressive. So stick around. I have no doubt you'll be highly informed and inspired.
Well, of course, here we have some guns that are for rent and for sale. The ones on the bottom part of the shelf are rental guns. Have a variety, just about anything you'd want. The ones on top are new guns that are for sale. And we have a pretty good selection there as well. And we order guns for people any way they want them. Here on the back wall, we offer machine gun rentals for people to shoot out on our range. And we also have, long guns here for sale. Most of these are guns that my son Hunter has built. We are licensed to do that as well. And he builds them out any way you want them. And we can go from low end to high end and make them really nice and customize them for people. Then over here, we have some other guns. These are used guns that we have for sale. Our inventory is a little bit low right now. But again, some more AR-15 style rifles, and then some regular hunting rifles over there. And then we have some more guns here that are some other used guns that we have for sale. We actually also do consignment sales for people, and we have several that are consignment sales as well.
Okay, cool. So you guys buy guns off people if they want to sell a gun, apparently?
Yes, we buy guns, sell and trade, and one thing that we really like to do is if we can get into like an estate sale that's going on, and we also do appraisals for people on their guns if they need it for insurance purposes or whatever. We're certified to do that as well.
When you close, where do you put these guns, I guess?
We actually have
a safe or
a
something?
large vault that we had built, built here on site, and it's approximately, about 12 by 12 in size, I believe. And we can probably get somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 plus guns in there without any problem. And we keep it, it's back here. And
okay, so it's a big room.
Yeah,
basically.
it's a large room back here behind the door. And it's, like I said, it was built here on site, made out of ballistic steel. To some specs that we came up with our builder to make it super secure. And every night when we close this place down, every gun in this building goes in that vault.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And,
well, how about all this inventory here?
Yeah, we have quite a bit of ammunition. We have pallets of this as well as what's here in the store. We have some others in storage. So we've got plenty of that to sell. 9mm 250 round boxes here. Of course, we have some of our merchandise, with our logo and stuff on it over here. We like, the gun cases, the cups that everybody likes now to carry around with them, hats, range bags. We also have some optics over here, different scopes and ammunition over here as well. And we have a different range of scopes. We even have like night vision, things like that. And again, if there's something that someone's looking for and we don't have it here in the store, we can get it. I mean, we have a large number of distributors that we buy through, and we can get anything that any big box store can get. And then around on the other side over here, of course, we have the wall here with the accessories. These are mostly accessories for the AR-15 rifles and some other magazines and stuff for different guns here as well. Speed loaders, which are really popular to help people load their magazines a lot faster and without having to, put so much into it with their thumb. It makes it a lot easier using those. We also have a lot of gun cleaning supplies and a small setup of holsters here that we do. But we really push the cleaning supplies to people and how important it is to keep your guns cleaned and lubricated like they're supposed to be, and we have all the supplies to do that as well. And then over here, we have all the hearing protection and eye protection that is required on our gun range. We recommend everybody to use that anytime you're shooting your firearms because it can damage your hearing. And then we have a big variety of those. We also have several targets to choose from to use out on our range. anything from just a simple silhouette target to a bad guy target to Star Wars and zombie targets. We've got them all.
All right.
And then again, some more of our merchandise here with our logo on it and more ammunition. This is 223 rifle ammunition here. Again, these are 250 round boxes as well.
And here's the three amigos.
Yes, these are my three boys.
All right.
We got Hunter on the left there. It's our general manager of the store. And he is a graduate from Stephen F. Austin University. And he manages the store for us and kind of runs things up here at the front. Austin is currently in gunsmithing school. And he and Hunter both know how to do gunsmithing anyway, but he wanted to get his certification in it, so he's doing that. And of course, he helps us here on the floor and out on the range. Of course, with everything we do out here, they both can handle anything in here that needs to be done. And then Logan handles all of our marketing and our graphic design and anything that has to do with our social media. He gets that out there for us.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's all in the family.
All right, well, how about let's check out the range.
Yeah, and I didn't even introduce my wife, Kalena, here. Kalena is...
She's the glue.
That's right.
Yes.
We are a women-owned business, and Kalena is the majority owner in the company, and I like it that way because she has more responsibility than I do. But she does a great job keeping things going up here at the front and keeping up with our revenues and all of the things we have to do for tax purposes and all of that. She keeps up with all of that for us and paying the bills and everything. Another thing that I forgot to mention Logan does for us too is our point of sale system was very complicated when we first got that thing. I'd never dealt with anything like that, and he helped us get it figured out and set up and customized it for our store and the way we do things, which has been extremely helpful in the way we operate around here.
Cool.
All right. Come on back here. I'll show you the rest of the facility right quick. And here we have our classroom. We do license to carry classes as well as basic handgun courses, and we offer other advanced courses in firearms training as well. And we can seat up to 20 students in here. Our classes usually average around 10 to 12 people, but we have had as many as 20 people in here at a time. And it's one thing we want to do when we built this facility is have a really nice training classroom, for people to come into, be comfortable, be quiet when we're in here having class. And of course, we have the big screen TV where we can project or have our lessons that we do and videos that we show and things like that have to do with it.
I like it. It looks pretty cool.
Thank you. We
Nice
also
and
have
spacious.
this. Yeah, we have the countertop set up here because we make this room, the patio you'll see in a minute, our gun range, available for people to rent if they want to do private parties or whatever. And we set up the countertop and sink here in case they want to bring food in. They have a place to set everything up and clean up here. So.
Okay.
All right, and this way is to our patio. All right, now here we made this patio area to give people a place to come to and just relax. If they come out here to the store, like they're at one of our classes or something, like today, for example, we had a class this morning, and during our breaks, the students come out here. You can watch a little TV. It's heated and cooled. We have concession machines out here. When the weather's nice, we open the big door there and let the fresh air in. But it's just kind of a nice area to sit. And if people are out on the gun range, you can actually sit here behind ballistic glass and watch people shoot. And we'll go out on the range in just a second, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. There's no one out there shooting right now, so it should be pretty quiet. But we built that part of this building is all constructed with ballistic steel to make it super safe. So when people are sitting in here, if somebody does have discharged in the wrong direction for some reason, it won't come through the glass or through the wall. And same thing on the sides. The bullets can't get out of here the way we designed this place. Even the ceiling up there has ballistic steel on the other side of those tiles. And the entire building is foam spray insulated, which cuts down on the noise and keeps it from getting too hot in there during the summertime because there's no radiant heat that comes into the building. So out here.
Well, I noticed when there were people in here shooting earlier, this wall here really cuts down on the noise.
Does,
it's
absolutely.
not loud at all.
Yeah. makes a difference. In our range, okay, so we built, right now we have a 25-yard pistol range. We do allow some rifle out here with frangible or subsonic ammunition, which we sell. The reason for that is the ballistic steel that is downrange for the baffles, we call the bullet baffles, they're to deflect rounds down to the ground in case someone shoots high. They're not really rated for high-powered rifle rounds. They're rated generally for pistol rounds. So the backstop back there is about 2,000 hours packed into a steel bullet trap. Of course, we got it covered with that camo netting just to make it look a little nicer.
Yeah, I like that. It looks pretty cool.
And then each one of the booths here, that we made them a little bit wider than most ranges do, so 2 people could rent 1 lane and safely and comfortably shoot in that lane. So they're approximately 5 feet wide, a little under 5 feet wide.
So it saves them some money too, because they don't each have to rent a lane.
Right.
That's pretty
they get
cool.
a discount if they use the same lane. And then between each shooter, we have, again, ballistic steel walls between the shooters. Everything inside this building is covered in a very dense rubber, like the rubber you would see in a workout gym on the floor.
Right.
Is what this is. And it really cuts down on the noise out here. And it just looks cleaner. It gives it a better finish, than just the raw steel out there. Each stall has individual heaters above them for when it is cold out here. We also have some additional heaters that we can put at either end if it's really cold, that we can turbo heat it. And then during the summertime, we have ceiling fans and we have a big industrial fan, as well as water coolers or swamp coolers that we put out here. And with the building being insulated and you're out of the sun, it's very tolerable. It's not a problem, even in the extreme heat that we have sometimes.
I really like this. It looks really cool.
Yeah, and down here at the end, you see our range safety officer booth. Another thing that we do is anytime somebody is shooting out here, even if it's just one customer, we always have a range safety officer out here just to make sure people are being safe. And if they have any problems or whatever and need some help with something, he's here to help them.
So you have controls here for your lights.
We have a lighting system out here that we control with this joystick. Red means, the range is shut down, no shooting at ceasefire time. If people are shooting, we have it on the green light so they can go ahead and the range is theirs to shoot. And if we need to get ready to cease fire, we'll flip it to yellow to let people know they need to start wrapping up what they're doing, because we're about to stop everything for someone to come down and either put new targets out or new shooters coming in, or somebody wants to adjust the distance on their target. And
I like it. It looks really cool.
Yeah. We also have a very elaborate camera system in and around this building. We have cameras above each shooting stall. We use them for a couple of reasons. Of course, liability is a big thing in this business. We have to be careful and make sure that we're doing everything right and people are being safe out here. And if something should happen, we'll have it recorded and we'll be able to determine, what happened. Another reason we have them out here on the range especially is for training purposes. Like our training class we had this morning, these students are being recorded, and we can actually play back and show them something they were doing wrong or doing right, and how we adjusted and how it improved what they were doing, which is a really good training tool to be able to do that with them. And of course, we have the cameras here for security as well, all around the building and the range and everything, as well as an elaborate alarm system, just because of what we have here. And we just have to be careful with what we've got and make sure that it's always safe and secure out here.
Really looks great. I'm very impressed. Terry, Hunter, glad you guys came on. Tell us about the business here. You started it about how many years ago?
Well, we actually started the business in 2008, and we had tables at the gun shows for several years. And during that time, we started coming up with the idea of opening our own gun store with a gun range. And it took us quite a bit of time to get it done. We went through several different ideas and iterations of what we wanted to do, and finally landed on this idea that we have here, and seems to be working out pretty good for us.
So you guys started out teaching out of the back of your house, in the range in the backyard, right?
Right. Yeah, we have a gun range we built out in the back there. And
How many years did you do that?
Let's see, from 2008 till probably about 2023, 23. And we did very well with it. I mean, during that time, some of that time we actually did the classes at our local fire station up here, and then we'd come out here to shoot. But over that time period, 2008 to about 2023, somewhere in that neighborhood, we've had right at 3,000 students that have come through our classes, and that's license to carry classes. We do basic handgun courses, a few other classes, but it's worked out really well.
So you guys were doing this out of your house, and then you own this land. I know you live back over here. So how long did it take for you to decide you're going to open this business? Because you built this building. This is a brand new building. Right. Specifically for this purpose. How long did you guys think about doing it, and did you have to convince your wife, or was she the one to convince you, or how did this come about?
No, I mean, it was a family thing that we had talked about for several years that we wanted to do, and we were just trying to figure out a way to do it and where would be the best place to do it. And we actually started out, we were planning on building a gun range in town, in the city limits.
In someone else's building.
Right. And ran into a lot of issues with that. Couldn't find the building that would work right. We started looking at the cost of doing it there because we were going to have to buy the land, buy the building, or lease it, and then to renovate that building to make it into what we needed to be. It's not cost effective at all. And so we were just actually sitting around the dinner table one evening talking about it, and trying to figure out a way to make this whole thing work, because we had a really good idea, a really good concept. And we said, you know what, we're sitting on 100 acres here. We're not that far from the city anymore. I mean, it's 15 minutes from here to the Walmart, okay?
Here to Buc-ee's.
Yeah, and Buc-ee's. And so, I said, hey, let's cut out 2.5, 3 acres of our property, make it commercial property, and build it on our property out here. And so we thought about it. We came out here and we marked things off, kind of thought, okay, this is where things would go. In the meantime, we also talked to the few neighbors that we have out here, because everybody out here is on acreage. And everybody thought it was a great idea. Nobody had a problem with it. And so we started moving forward and started getting things happening. We had to, of course, do some things through the county as far as making this commercial property. Of course, you got to deal with, you got to put in septic system, a commercial septic system, which is a little bit more expensive. All these different things had to deal with the fire marshal's office. They were all great to work with, and actually helped us with some things, to kind of walk us through it. And we started pulling things together, and it started rolling, and turned into this.
Well, how did you learn how to do this? What kind of research did you guys do before you did it? Because I'm sure it took a number of years, didn't it? From when you guys initially said, we're doing this, from the time you started turning dirt here, how long was that?
Oh, it was probably about maybe 5 to 6 years.
Okay, that'd be about right, because it doesn't happen that fast.
Right.
So what kind of research did you do? Because now, what's your background? You were in law enforcement.
Right. My wife and I both 20-year law enforcement veterans.
Okay,
and,
so you were not in this business prior.
No.
So how did you do your research to know that you wanted to do this?
Well, the police department we worked at, they had an indoor gun range for the officers to use. And I was real good friends with the officer that ran that range. And I was always interested in it. And he told me and taught me a lot of things about it and how they work and everything, what you have to do. And it was real helpful. And then any opportunity that we had to go visit a gun range, we would go visit it. And if we were out of town, on vacation, whatever, we'd find the nearest gun ranges and we'd go see them.
All over the country?
All over the place.
About how many gun ranges would you say did you visit?
Gosh, probably close to 40.
Really?
Yeah.
35, 40.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you taking a lot of pictures and notes and stuff?
I've got a folder full of pictures in my computer, all these things. And the majority of the places we went to, the operators, the owners of the place, they were really cordial to us, and we told them what we were doing. They said, man, it's a great idea. Whatever you do this, don't do this. If we had to do over again, we would do this different. And we took notes on all of that. And then we actually went to a 3-day seminar with a company called Action Target in Utah, which was really good. We learned a lot from them in just 3 days. And we actually visited I think 5 or 6 ranges that they had built in the Utah.
So these are builders of gun ranges.
Right.
So you can take a course there, of course, in hopes you buy their equipment.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then in addition,
That was well worth the money and time?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Who all went?
Me and Hunter and Kalena went. Okay. My wife Kalena went, and we got to be really good friends with the man that actually runs that company, and he still keeps in touch with us. You know, he thinks this is great what we've done here, even though we didn't buy their equipment. He still thinks it's great. But we also, in addition to that, we did something you don't have to do in this industry. There's actually no regulations in the gun range.
There's no regulating body.
No, nobody regulates what they do. The NRA, National Rifle Association, has recommendations on how you should build a range or whatever. But they have a 1-week school that they do. It was in Las Vegas, and we went to that probably about, it's probably been about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe longer than that. And it was a week-long school on how to own and operate and manage a gun range, which was really good. And got a lot of really good information from that, which, and there were other gun range owners there that also assisted us, you know, in working through our ideas. So it was really good to do that, and we got some really good ideas from that, and you know, learned how to plan things out. This is what you got to do first. You got to make sure you do this or that or whatever. And so once we started pulling all of that together, it took some time, of course, and we finally figured out a way to make it happen, and we started building. And ran into a few issues during construction. You know, at first, our builder was having a hard time getting the concrete because there were some large projects going on around the area out here, and nobody had concrete.
And you had to pay a lot more for it.
Yes.
That's how it works.
Yes. And so we sat here looking at some really nice batter boards ready to be poured in for a couple of months.
About a month and a half,
yeah. And nothing was happening. And then finally, they said, okay, we'll be able to get the concrete, you know, in 3 days or whatever. So the plumber came out, did his quick thing. Then they came in and poured the concrete. Well, by that time it was about 110 degrees. And they said, well, now we're going to have a problem getting the steel. It's hung up somewhere. And so we had to basically set up a sprinkler system with timers to water our foundation here for about 3 weeks until the steel came in to make sure, because it was so hot, It was trying to cure too fast. So they said, keep it watered down. So we kept it watered down. Then finally the steel got delivered. Our builder called us. He said, the steel's on the way. We'll be there in a couple of hours. And man, when it got here, those guys hit the ground running. They didn't slow down for nothing. They had this entire structure in the dry within 3 weeks, you think?
Yeah, I think about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, about 2.5 weeks in the dry. And then we could start finishing out.
So when you were designing this place, that had to have been pretty tough.
Mm-hmm.
Because your imagination has no budget.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
right.
you had 50, 100 different designs. I mean, how did y'all finally come up with this is it?
Well,
I guess through all the notes and you were reading everything and about when you visited these places, or did y'all pretty much lay it out fairly how you wanted it?
well, we had a pretty good idea. Once we decided to do it here on our property, we had a really good idea of the size we wanted to go with. You know, 10 lanes is what we wanted to fit in here. And then how we kind of worked it from there back. Say, okay, we want a 10-lane gun range, all right? This is how wide we want the shooting stalls to be. This is how far we want to be able to shoot. So you start there and work your way back to the front of the store. We said, okay, we want a nice patio area, which is where we are now. And it's a good lounging area for people to sit. We have classes, people come out here, and if people are shooting and you know, they just want to take a break, they come out here or whatever. But we decided to do this because we make this available to people that want to do like private parties. They can rent this in the gun range and of course our classroom as well. And so we came up with this, and then we knew that we had 40-foot by 60-foot area for the store, okay, which had to encompass the classroom, a break room, a public restroom, of course the corridor or the hallway to get back here from the front of the store. We had to have the sales floor, we had to have an office, private restroom, and we had to have a gun vault. And so we just had to start coming up with dimensions and ideas on sizes. How big do we think this needed to be, that? And finally, we came up with something that it just kind of fell into place. So, man, this is what we want this thing to look like. And fortunately, I have a program on my computer where I can design things. It's just a little hobby of mine. So we were able to actually build this in my computer and do a 3D walkthrough to see what it's going to look like. And we finally said, this is it.
So did you just give the drawings to your builder
Mm-hmm.
and they took it from there? You didn't have to have architecture,
No, but our-
architects or any
Right.
any other professionals that would
Well,
have been at a nice expense?
We had to do some. Our builder, he had an engineer that works for him that had to do the engineering for the building, for the structure to be like.
Makes
you know,
sense,
right.
yeah.
And then we gave him all of our drawings and showed him the video that I had on my computer of the, the building that I had done. Then he was able to get into his computer, which is a much more expensive and advanced system than I have. And I mean, it designs everything for you. It tells you exactly how many pieces of steel, whatever size you have to have here and all that. And he put all of that together. And it didn't take him very long to do that. And then, like I say, once we finally got steel here, he started construction on it.
Well, that's pretty brave of you. You've never had a business before, right?
Well, we have. We owned a private security company for several years.
Okay.
Was
this after you retired from the police force? Okay, so you did that.
Yeah, and we did private security for businesses that needed it. We also did executive protection and dignitary protection. So we knew how to run a business, and we had dealt with employees before, things like that. But this is a totally different animal, completely
Because
different.
that's services only.
Yes.
And people versus a building and inventory and all
Right.
that. Well, I want to cover also your range here. You're kind of sort of a hybrid. You're not really completely indoor.
Right.
You're not completely outside. Tell us a little bit about why you went that route versus a total indoor range. I know it significantly costs more, I believe, to build totally indoor.
Yeah. To do an indoor range, you have to have air handling systems to get the lead and that comes off of the rounds that are being fired, the lead particles in the air and the smoke out of the building. With an outdoor range, you don't have to do that because it circulates the air out itself. And so to build an indoor range for everything that it takes to make that range work, which includes your stall and the equipment for it, even your target retrieval system if you choose to use that, the concrete for that lane, the bullet trap at the end, and then the air handling system for that lane, you're somewhere in the neighborhood of $125,000 per lane to do that. An outdoor range, you didn't have that kind of cost. We did do some things, some extra things that you don't see at other outdoor ranges. For example, first of all, where you stand to shoot in your stall and everything, the building that you're in, you're basically in a 3-sided building with a roof over it, and the entire building is insulated. And it's heated and cooled.
Yeah, I saw the heaters.
Yeah.
And
well lit, and you're shooting to the outdoors. And the outdoor area that you're shooting to is also built like an indoor range in the fact that it has bullet baffles, steel bullet baffles downrange, just like an indoor range does. Instead of being suspended from the structure that it's inside of, they're actually held up with posts that we have. And then, of course, at the end of the range, we have a steel bullet trap that contains about 2,000 tires that basically grabs all the rounds that end up down there at the end of the range. So it's very cost effective opposed to doing indoor range. It didn't take as long to build, of course, because of the way we did it. And for out here, we have found very early on here, we've been open 6 months now, people love it because indoor ranges, they're loud, they're very loud. And if the air handling system is not working properly, you get a lot of smoke and inhalation going on. It gets pretty bad if there's several people in there shooting. We do not have that problem out here at all. And another thing we did with our range is kind of unique. We haven't seen it anyplace else. It was just an idea that I had that I knew would work, is we covered the walls with rubber, a dense rubber mat material, just like you see in workout gyms. And for the obvious reason, to dampen the noise. And it has worked. It's doing great. People love it. They're like, I'm not feeling the boom like I do in an indoor range or even some outdoor ranges that maybe don't even have partitions between the shooters. You're catching that boom from the gun next to you. You don't have that out here. So we've done something we think is unique. We haven't seen another range like this. And
all the travels you did,
yes,
you haven't seen one like this?
No, we haven't. Most outdoor ranges
cool.
that we've been to, they're mostly plywood construction.
Probably not as safe.
Not very safe.
Because I know you've got this bulletproof
We got-
glass and everything
right.
too in here
Absolutely.
to protect anyone in here.
Yeah, and you can sit here and watch people shoot safely. You don't have to worry if somebody turns around and has, a discharge in the wrong direction for whatever reason. You don't have to worry about somebody getting shot. Okay, it's not going to do any damage to anything or anybody. But we visited all these ranges, and the outdoor ranges, we didn't see a one that was built anything like this. None of them.
Yeah, this is really unique.
Yeah.
And I'm a shooter as well, and I've gone to 2 other ranges right in Dallas. And they're not near as nice as this.
No,
And I'm not just saying that. I mean, it's not near as nice. So you guys do your range. You've got memberships, the range fees. You have classes. You sell guns, ammo. Of course, you have to be registered with the ATF. I guess that's the only legal body.
That's the only regulatory agency we
Right.
have to deal with.
And then as far as the classes, that's your area, right?
Yes,
Hunter, talk
yeah.
about, could you just describe a little bit about the kinds of classes that you guys
Yeah,
have?
absolutely. So I'll start with our gun range. We have a range safety officer at all times. Even if there's just one shooter out there, we have a range safety officer to supervise and watch them, especially in case there's some sort of injury that may occur, or if someone has a medical emergency unrelated to the gunfire. Which hasn't happened yet, knock on wood, but we're all trained with tourniquets, stop bleed kits. We all carry tourniquets up here just in case something happens. But in our courses, we offer 2 main courses currently, the Texas DPS licensed carry course and our own blend of a basic handgun course and that licensed carry course on the same day. So the basic course is our most popular because we get a bunch of new time gun owners.
And these are people that just don't have any experience shooting a gun at all, like don't even know how to chamber it?
Exactly.
Okay, so
exactly
you
right.
take very beginner.
Yes.
Well, that's
Yep.
pretty cool.
We prefer to have people that have never shot a gun before come to our
Right,
courses.
it's probably better. They
'Cause
don't have
any-
habits
No bad
formed.
habits. Exactly right. So we have about 1, and this is kind of a sensitive subject, of course, but roughly 1 out of every 10 people in our courses has been a victim of some sort of domestic violence. So as a result of getting to learn these people's stories and them confiding in us, we've learned how to help those people through that as well. Of course, our goal is to train someone to where they can keep that from happening altogether. But unfortunately, as most of us know, that's not the case every time. So we're trained in helping people from all walks of life in every type of situation. We're also going to start offering a couple other new courses too. I'm working on the curriculum for one right now. It's going to be a concealed carry and handgun maintenance course that's all combined into one. I don't like having to tell people, come spend your money 4 separate times. Let's get as much done in one day as possible.
So this is the concealed carry and to maintain as far as to
Yes.
clean their gun?
Yes, we have people that come out with guns that just don't function. They inherited an old relic of a gun basically, and they
Got all that powder in
yeah
there?
they learn the hard way. They learned before the hard way that the gun they have isn't the right gun for them. So we have several rental options, and sometimes during a course we highly suggest people, hey, you want to try a couple different guns, rent out a couple, try them during the course. You can do that in a course that is not regulated like the DPS course is. Okay. So my courses, we have at least 2 instructors that are watching over everyone, especially with new shooters. You got 10 new shooters on the line, there has to be eyeballs on everybody, just to make sure they learn the safety protocols accordingly. But we're really excited, for the courses we have coming up, because we want people to come back and keep using us and tell their friends.
Okay, that's cool. Well, word of mouth is where it happens.
Yes.
So you guys, pistol range, you can shoot a shotgun here, but it's, you said buckshot only?
And slugs.
And slugs. No rifle yet, or can you shoot rifles here?
We can shoot. We allow, of course, rifles that shoot pistol calibers. We also allow subsonic ammo and frangible ammo, which we sell. The reason for that is because the steel that is downrange is not really rated for high-powered rifle rounds. And so the subsonic and the frangible rounds don't damage the steel. But we are working on plans right now with our builder to be adding a rifle range, hopefully this year.
You're just going to add it to the side, just
We're gonna,
extend it over?
over on the west side of our property here, we're going to be adding it next to this range, and it's going to be a 100-yard,
Oh, cool.
10-lane rifle range.
You can sight in your rifles, come out
Right.
here and do that.
And it's going to be built almost identical to this, with the exception of the steel that's downrange, of course, will be heavier ballistic steel, what they call AR 500 steel, so it can handle those high-powered rounds if it should get struck. Another thing that our builder has engineered a way to be able to suspend that steel without having the post. So it'll be just clear open all the way down. Also, the booths, of course, or your shooting stalls will have benches that you sit at.
Oh, that you
to
got to
shoot.
have that.
Yeah. And the patio area behind it is actually going to be quite a bit smaller than this, because it's just going to be more of a waiting area for people to go in and shoot. And the range safety officer will actually operate out of this room. He'll have glass there and a door to be able to get in and out if he needs to. And of course, PA system to communicate with shooters if he sees something going on. And then in addition to that, we're actually going to have a really nice gunsmith shop in that building as well. And so that way, we'll be able to do all kinds of gunsmithing work and work right out of that building.
So I know that before you built this building, you and your family, y'all were teaching concealed carry out of your house. You had a little range behind your house. And to get the word of mouth out, you were out going to gun shows.
Right.
And you were just getting a small little booth. Was that the only thing you were advertising, you were marketing? Were you selling guns as well? And
we
were selling guns out there too?
Yeah, we were selling guns and ammo, and then we would have brochures about our classes. And what we'd usually do is myself and Hunter and Austin, we focused on the gun sales and the ammo sales, because really, at gun shows, you really have to keep an eye on things, because people will try to. And then we had another friend of ours, Aaron, that works with us quite a bit. He would focus on talking to people about our classes and recruit people to come to our classes. And it worked out really well. And we got to be very well known at all the local gun shows around here.
How many years did you do the gun shows?
Oh gosh, we did them from about 2008 until,
Let's say 2016 maybe?
maybe somewhere right around there.
Eight years
about 8
probably.
years, yeah.
Really? So that's a pretty good while.
Yeah.
That's a good time to build a following, some
Well,
relationships.
that too, and to really learn the business well. The gun business, I should say, and gun store business. For years and years, you had a couple of choices. You could go to the big box store, and it talks about maybe they know a little bit about guns, but maybe not as much.
Yeah, they really don't.
Yeah, and you could do that, and probably pay a lot more for the gun. You go to gun shows, of course, or you go to the local gun shop, where it was usually, a place that's been there for 40 years, which that's fine, but they never changed much in those 40 years. And they had their regular clientele that came in, and they weren't very welcoming to new people, And we saw that a lot. And that's one thing that we said that we wanted to change in this industry, is we wanted to make ourselves available to everybody, anybody that's interested in shooting sports or self-defense, whatever. And, we started doing that with our gun show operation. We would talk to people, anybody that came in the door at the gun shows, that we saw other vendors out there wouldn't give them the time of day. And I never have understood, why they want to treat people that way. But
yeah, because they're giving you their business.
That's right. And everybody out there has just as much right as anybody else to be able to protect themselves if they feel like they need to with a gun, or if they want to get involved in shooting sports or hunting. Hey, yeah, we'll help you out. We'll do what we can to help you out. So we got that reputation at the gun shows, and that's carried over into our store, and that's something we've done out here. We have a variety of folks that come into our store, and everybody from, we've had people 80 years old, down to in their 20s, and people now bringing their children and grandchildren in. We allow children 12 and up, to come in. And they're regular customers. They're coming in on a regular basis. And they have told us they've been to other gun ranges in the area that weren't very kind to them.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I know of one specifically.
Yeah.
I walked in one, there's like 5 or 6 people working there, and not a single person said, "Can I help you?" or anything. And I couldn't believe it. I was walking around, and I just casually walked out. So the operational side of it, you're 100% you got it the way you want it, no big surprises.
No, I think
None yet.
So I guess visiting all of those other gun ranges for a period of how many years was it?
Oh gosh.
About 15.
Yeah.
10 to 15.
About 10 or 15 year period. Any chance we had to go to a gun range.
That's an awful lot of research.
Yeah.
But it's paid off
Absolutely.
like crazy. And
Yeah.
this is not a small amount of money to put into something and then figure it out later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So man, that's impressive. I can't believe you did it that many years.
Yeah. Well, it was You know, and during that time, of course, you know, I was working, you know, a regular job and everything, and we're trying to figure out how to work this into things. And, you know, we would go to one gun range and get a bad taste in our mouth after talking to them.
You learn what not to do.
Right. And then we'd go to another one and say, yeah, those guys, they are doing it right. We want to do it the way they're doing it. And, you know, we'd have these highs and lows of trying to get this thing together. And like I say, when things finally started kind of gelling and falling into place, then it just started kind of snowballing. And it worked out great for us. And, you know, the 6 months we've been here, yeah, I mean, we've had a few, you know, minor challenges, nothing big.
Could you cover one or two of them with us just to educate us, and maybe how'd you overcome it?
Well, you know, just getting down, okay, how we need to, you know, manage people coming in and out of here, making sure that people are being safe, just talking to someone at the sales counter out there that maybe doesn't know much about guns. And we know those guns are empty. We clear them before we hand it to somebody, but you know, you have people that don't recognize or think about that, and they're pointing guns at everybody in the store, you know, and people, you know, they think it's cute to point a gun at their girlfriend or whatever. Little things like that you have to deal with, but you have to be tactful. You know,
Right.
I don't want to, you know, jump all over somebody. And so, you know, we try to do that, of course.
Well, what about the brass? Is that a pretty good revenue stream when people
It
leave the
is.
brass and you pick it up and you sell it?
Absolutely. Yes, we have a vendor that he comes and picks it up whenever we need him to come out. He usually likes to get enough to fill up at least a 55-gallon drum.
Is it by the pound?
No, it's just by the size of the drum being full of it.
By the gallon.
Yeah.
That's how they do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And,
So it doesn't matter what caliber, like who cares about a 22, or
Right.
but they still use those,
Yeah,
recycle those.
Well, mainly what he does, he just sells it for scrap.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's scrap.
He's a
Okay.
middleman for us. We could do it, but it
Yeah,
takes
why do you
time
wanna
out of
mess
our
with
day.
it?
We let him handle it, and he pays us well for it, and we're fine with that. Yeah.
Well, for those that are skeptical, when you said it cost about $125,000 per lane if you're totally indoors,
Mm-hmm.
why is it so expensive? It's the specialty.
No.
Medical grade air is what they have in there. So we've been to several, especially the good quality indoor gun ranges. Like I'm talking new construction is what costs $125,000
Right, yeah.
per lane, and that was you know 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's probably more than that now. We've been told by numerous gun ranges that the air you breathe inside their booths is hospital grade air, because the air handling system they have is the exact same that a large hospital would have dealing with patients, and that's where the cost is. Between that and of course the AR-500 steel baffles to keep rounds from leaving their facility, that's the most expensive part. And that steel, for example, one silhouette size target is about $150. So you imagine about 1,000 of those hanging from the ceiling to keep rounds from getting out. That's going to be pretty expensive.
Right. Okay.
And you have that, and the HVAC system that does that is totally different from a regular, you know, heating and cooling system. It's not forced air pushing out. It's air that actually falls from a vent and actually goes to the floor. It has to be timed and tuned out just perfect, and it basically rolls out on the floor where you're shooting, kind of behind you, and then at the end of the range, at the bullet trap, there's another section of it that actually sucks that air down there to get those particles out of the air so it doesn't stir them up. It's a very sophisticated and expensive system.
It's like
to
a
do.
vacuum.
Yeah, and there's only, I mean, literally a handful of companies in the whole country that do those. That's another reason it's so expensive, because they know what they're worth.
Well, I love your workaround, your creativity and workaround. And then the sides of your range, you just built up, you pulled dirt out of one part of your property and just built it up. How high is it?
It's 12 foot.
12 feet high?
Yeah, but our baffles, the steel baffles, are at 7 foot. So nothing could get past those, and if it did, now it's going to hit dirt.
Right.
Okay. So again, when you're standing in a shooting stall, you can't see the sky. You can't see outside of that area at all, which means your bullets can't get out. That's the way we designed it, and we were able to do that on the program I have on my computer and visually sit and look and see this is how this is going to look from here to here at this distance with these baffles in place. And it worked out just like we did it on the program.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So all the employees are family, your 3 sons, you and your wife.
Yeah, we have one other person that helps us, a friend of ours, Dennis. He comes out 1 to 2 days a week and helps us if we get busy. And he helps run the range, of course. And then if we get real busy, my friend Aaron comes out and helps us depending on, if we got a special event going on or something, they'll come out and help. But for the most part, it's just the family here.
What's your main marketing strategy for this place?
Well, of course, we use social media.
Probably you don't do gun shows anymore, right?
No.
Okay.
We're going to start doing gun shows with just one table. Probably Dennis and Aaron are going to be helping us with that to really promote our classes and the gun range itself is what we're going to do with that table. We'll have a TV screen, running a video, maybe some of the video you're shooting here today, just showing it to people, because that's another thing. When we were working gun shows, we never saw a gun range out there advertising for their facility. Why not? That's a perfect place to do it.
And all the people that are going to that gun show generally live in the, 100-mile radius probably.
So we're going to work the Mesquite Gun Show for sure.
That's a good gun
And
show.
yeah, it is. And we know we're real good friends with the people that operate it. And they're excited about us coming back and doing something with them. And they think it's a great idea too. They said, man, absolutely, that'll drive people to your store,
So how did you come up with the name Shooters Texas, number one? And number two, did you have other ideas?
Well, when we originally started out in the business, we primarily sold home defense type shotguns, police, law enforcement type shotguns, and handguns for concealed carry. And we came up with I don't know, I even remember exactly how we did. We came up with the original name was Shooters Shotgun Shack, is what we called ourselves.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, and it was catchy.
I've got a little bullpup, by the way.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, we sold those. And people thought it was a really catchy name, so that's what we used for quite some time when we were working the gun shows and all. Well, then we got to looking at, okay, we're looking down the road at building a store and everything, and we're wanting to do something a little bit different. We want to expand a little more as to what we're doing. And so we were somewhere and we saw a range that had a similar way that they did it, where they incorporated the name of the state into their name, and I can't recall what it was now.
It wasn't Texas, it was a different state.
Yeah.
I don't remember either.
And I said, man, I like that idea. And so we just got to thinking about it, and I said, well, how about we just shorten this whole thing up, and let's just call ourselves Shooters. And then we got thinking about that idea, incorporating, and said Shooters, Texas. I mean, it sounds like it's its own place. I mean, it's a place to go to. It's Shooters, Texas. And so we did that. And at the time, I had a really good friend that he was a professional graphic arts designer and all this stuff and everything. And I talked to him and I said, hey, man, we've got this idea. Let me throw a few things at you just that I'm thinking of, and you take it and run with it. And he came up with our logo and our design for us. And it turned out great. I don't know if you can see it on the cameras or not, but that right there was done for us by a local machine shop here.
That looks really cool.
And
cool.
that's what he came up with the barbed wire around the edges and everything. And we just said, man, this is it. That's us.
Yeah.
And so, our incorporated or license, we were a LLC, but our incorporated name that's registered with the state is Shooter Shotgun Shack, doing business as Shooters, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I love a lot of little touches you have, like the big shotgun shells in front of the doors and the shotguns on the handles.
Our mailbox is a shotgun shell too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's so cool. Well, I know you and I had a brief discussion, just kind of curious about maybe the future plans. You are toying with some ideas of maybe having food here, or barbecue possibly, to kind of a venue, or what are some of the possible plans you're kind of
well, we've thought about
contacting
some of the local food trucks that do a lot of deals around here. We're going to look at maybe doing that. And then later on down the road, we're not really sure what we thought about the possibility of partnering with a local barbecue company that we're good friends with them, about maybe coming out here and just doing a smoker, or something, not like a full-blown restaurant setup, but maybe a smoker setup where they, have barbecue sandwiches or something.
or a few days a week, or
Right.
something where people know that's the day.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking at doing. Another idea that we're playing with that we think would be a lot of fun is to have movie night at the range. On the east side of our range here, which actually holds back the dirt berm on our gun range out there, there's a large concrete wall. And when we did that, I said, we've got to figure out something to do with that wall. We were looking at maybe doing a mural on it or something like that, but we've decided what we're going to do is we're going to get a big white canvas put on it, and we're going to have movies out here in the yard when the weather's nice, and do some of the old movies, like some of the Dirty Harry movies, stuff like that, or related to gun stuff, movies, which we think would be really cool and something different for people to come out to. And, invite them to come out, do some shooting at the gun range. When you get done, we're going to have movies out here on the lawn. We'll have popcorn or something. But that's just some of our ideas that we have, some things that we're going to do to make us a little bit different. And
Because I don't think any gun ranges that I know of,
no,
or at least in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, has anything like that. It's just gun range, gun cells, and
Right.
Other accessories.
Yeah, and another thing that we're doing, and we're actually seeing the results of our efforts, is we're trying to get that 20-something group of people into shooting sports and interested in coming out and learning about firearms and all this, and we're seeing them, and they're really starting to come in here. We're really happy about that. We do have a lot of military veterans that come in. And most of those guys are still, in their 20s and 30s, and they're great customers to have because.
Do they get discounts?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
We
yeah.
have veteran discounts, and the good thing about it, like Hunter mentioned a while ago, we have people that are new to it. They don't have any bad habits, so we can teach them the right way and the safest way right away, and that way they come out here and we have less concern about people being out there that have been through our classes, or at least take the time to ask us a few questions, or if we do a private class for them out here on the range, and it's really starting to roll. Getting those folks in here.
How are you going about attracting those young people and finding them? I guess through Logan's marketing and social media.
Social media is where we're getting that group of people from. I mean, that's where they get their information, and that's where they look for things. One of the, I guess, most memorable things that since we've been here, Hunter was actually out of town when it happened, but we had this, I could tell she was pretty young. A young lady called the store here one Saturday morning or Sunday morning, and she says, would it be possible for about 5 or 6 of us to come out and do some private training today and do some shooting out on your range, rent some guns and everything? I said, sure, we're here, come on. And so
you put together an impromptu class for some people that wanted to.
When they showed up, there were 5 or 6 girls that were all SMU students, had never even picked up a gun in their lives, but they were looking for something different to do.
And they learned something.
Yeah, but what was cool about it is every one of them said, I can't wait to show these pictures to my dad. I can't wait to do it. They wanted to show their dads what they were doing.
It's kind of stereotype.
Yeah, but they came out here
that is cool.
And they had a good time. They were a little giddy, of course, to be expected, right. But they were, right then, they were putting this out, Snapchat, Facebook, anything that was out there that they could put it on, they were doing it. And people were, it was going crazy.
That's great.
People are like, well, you're where? What are you doing? Other people they went to school with, whatever. And of course, they're telling their parents what they're doing and taking pictures and all that. They had the absolute best time, but they all left here with some knowledge about something that they had no idea about. They just thought it'd be something fun to do, but they told us, they said, we were not expecting to learn everything we learned today. And
well, hopefully it's a new hobby. Hopefully they'll buy a gun and realize not only is it a lot of fun and a hobby, but it's a great self-defense thing that everyone should know something about.
Absolutely.
And that is really cool.
Yeah.
Well, what advice would you give to someone that wants to start a business like this? A couple of pieces. It doesn't have to be just one.
Yeah, I think do your research. I mean, you really need to. You don't just jump off into this because there are a lot of components to it, and you have to know that you have the right people working with you to do this. Fortunately, working in the gun show business and all that all those years, and being in law enforcement those years and everything. Of course, I had the knowledge of the guns and everything. I was able to share that with my boys and teach them, and they picked up on it. I mean, they loved it, And so, having them in place, knowing that I could count on them, I don't have to worry about anything, is a big thing. It really is. And you've got to have somebody that can handle dealing with your social media stuff. That takes a lot of time.
Oh yeah, people don't realize just how much time that takes.
Yeah, and coming up with ideas on how are we going to promote this, how are we going to put this out there, What do we need to do for Valentine's Day? What do we need to do for Veterans Day? And that's what Logan does for us, so he handles that. We'll toss him an idea, he'll work with it and come up with something. We're like, man, we didn't even think about that. That's great. He'll put it together and we make it happen. So to me too, it's just the comfort factor of it being a family thing. We all are working for the same goal, to be a successful business and doing something we enjoy. We enjoy going to work every day, and we enjoy working together. I mean, we've always been a close family anyway, but this just keeps us close and makes us all want to do something that's beneficial to all of us. But I really feel like we're helping people too.
Oh yeah, I mean this is not only a hobby, but it's really sort of a necessity, I think, to learn how to defend yourself. So you're closed only Tuesday and Wednesdays?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the other days, Thursday through Monday, we're open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And we're in Terrell, Texas, which is approximately an hour away from Dallas, at least from my house.
We're 40 miles east of Dallas.
Yeah.
And like I said, from where we're sitting right here to the nearest Walmart in Terrell is right at 15 miles. So it's not that far.
Right. It's a beautiful place. I mean, it's very, very welcoming, great vibe, and I think you guys have put together something really, really cool. I've researched and looked at a lot of gun ranges, and when I came across this one, I thought, and I didn't know anything about the hybrid thing or how you got it set up. I thought that was really cool. So I appreciate you taking time out to come on. Man, I appreciate it a lot. So
Absolutely.
I know you guys. I have no doubt you're going to be very, very.
One of the most important pieces of advice Terry shared is how they did a lot of research before taking any steps to opening their range. They visited 35 to 40 ranges throughout the U.S. to meet with the owners to get advice. They also took lots of notes and pictures to document what they learned. This research can easily make the difference between success or failure and should never be overlooked. I hope this video added value. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.